Howdy, how's it going? Welcome back, or howdy if you're new. This is the Titan Army P27 A2R, and this is the king of budget-friendly, high-refresh gaming monitors. This thing comes fully feature-packed. It is a 1440p IPS display that can do up to 180 Hertz with only a 1 millisecond gate-to-gate response time, and it also has adaptive sync. This thing comes super feature packed and will handle everything and anything you throw at it, no matter if you're using a handheld or a full-fledged gaming desktop. You are fully covered front to back. Now, with that out of the way, I will say Titan Army did send this over for review. So thank you to Titan Army. I really appreciate it. This monitor blew me away, but I will tell you all of its quirks and features, so you guys will just have to watch and see what I think. Now with that out of the way, let me tell you quickly, this thing is built like a tank. When they say Titan Army, they aren't lying. This is like some Army tough type stuff. The stand is built out of metal. It's very well constructed. This thing went together with ease. I was extremely impressed at the price point. Oh, I may not have even mentioned the price point. $169.99 currently with a coupon code. That is insane because this was coming in at about a $250 price point. So that is impressive in and of itself. Now, one of the other things I will say about it is the ergonomics of the controls for the on-screen display feel good, but the on-screen display feels a little dated. So that was one of the caveats. Now, the only other caveat I will say is it is only a 300 nit brightness screen, but as you can see, it's pretty dang bright. I don't have any issues with brightness. Now, going into colors, it does cover 95% of the DCI-P3 spectrum, and it does look pretty good. You can dial these black levels in a little bit more, but I'm showing it to you in an out-of-the-box state so you know exactly what to expect. This monitor for 169 bucks is a good value. I've used it on the ROG Ally, I've used it on the Lenovo Legion Go, and I even tossed in the gaming laptop that I use daily, which is an RTX 4060, and I've even tested it on my gaming desktop, which has a 4090. So it doesn't matter if I'm pushing 60 FPS or 240 FPS, and then I'm using that adaptive sync. So even if you're overdriving it, and you're pushing more FPS or you're not pushing enough FPS, that adaptive sync seems to be doing a good job at smoothing out the FPS, so you're not getting a ton of frame tearing like you would on some of these other budget monitors that might not have adaptive sync. And that's something that a lot of you guys are looking for with something like the Ally here. You can see I am using my water-cooled ROG Ally, and it just works really well in docked mode. I know there is a ton of people who will say I've ruined this device, but trust me, I haven't. I see you out there on Reddit, you guys that use these as a desktop just because maybe unforeseen circumstances, or you've realized it makes a great budget-friendly desktop. It really is. It does everything you need. Hook up a wireless keyboard and mouse and a monitor, and bam, you have a desktop. There are some people who really don't use this in its handheld form because maybe they were given this as a Christmas present. Maybe they bought a newer handheld, or maybe they're buying the Ally X and this is going to be retired to a desktop fashion. Well, having something like a gaming monitor is a perfect addition to your Ally or your Legion or any of your other handheld setups. When you're trying to hook these things up to a TV, for example, you can get a lot of frame tearing, and especially being limited to 60 Hertz. If you want to play some of these faster FPS shooters or some racing games, you're definitely going to wish you had a higher refresh rate screen. Now, the other thing that really was quite interesting and quite good on this monitor was its response time. I am very sensitive to response time. So when I'm playing something like Call of Duty or Battlefield, I really notice input lag and input delay. Now, already using some of these docks, that can create some input lag and input delay. Using a wireless controller can create some input lag and input delay. So if you start stacking a lot of these things together in its desktop fashion, you'll kind of notice it quickly if it appears to have any, especially on the display, because you've already got enough that you can't compensate for. I honestly can't tell any difference between using this and using, let's just say, my other main display, which is completely overkill, but it's about $1,000 monitor. When I'm using that, even with its 240 hertz refresh rate, which I can't push anyways with the Ally, but if I just set it to like 144 hertz or 165 hertz, for example, that monitor has the exact same feeling when I'm doing something that is like an FPS shooter. I actually feel that the input delay is about the same, so it's really on par with some of these higher end displays. Now with that said, I have a few other monitors that do 120 hertz and some that do 144 hertz that are around the same size. Those have significantly more noticeable input delay. Now when I'm doing it on like a TV, that is the worst. I cannot really get down with playing any type of shooters or really intensive games on TVs. Maybe my LG C1 OLED can suffice for a while, but I still notice that there is a significant amount of input delay, so I really don't like gaming on a TV unless I'm playing like a platformer or an RPG, or maybe just some, chill racing game. I can get by with that. So having a competitive style high refresh monitor, it is an advantage. And if you look at your Call of Duty players in the top leagues, they're all using high refresh monitors, most of them 240 hertz and above. But if you're playing something like an Ally, you're not going to be hitting that 240 FPS target anyways. So I think even 180 hertz is still overkill, but it allows you to have some breathing room. So when you do upgrade, maybe get an XG mobile, or you get an external GPU, or you want to put it on a desktop, you'll have a lot more breathing room to push out that extra refresh rate. So I've thought about, doing some monitor comparisons between your portable, like 15.6 inch and 17-inch monitors to some of these gaming monitors, but it's really a night and day comparison when it comes to some of the features. Like, you've got a lot of input lag on these smaller portable monitors, and you also have a lot of frame tearing because most of them don't have any type of VRR or adaptive sync or any type of AMD FreeSync. So having that alone really makes it worth spending the extra money, getting a little bit bigger monitor. So it's a win-win overall. Well, I know this was a long-winded rant about this monitor and how much I like it, but I am being honest. It is going to be sitting on my desk. I will be using it as a daily driver, especially for testing handhelds and testing out laptops and being able to see my camera when I'm filming sometimes. So it will be a staple on my desk. And I do say thank you again to Titan Army. You guys built an Army Tough monitor, so that name definitely fits. And I want to say also thank you to the channel members. You guys are the GOAT. Much love to you guys as always. I really, really, really appreciate it. It means so much to me that you guys are subscribed and you are a member of this channel. You are the GOAT. And if you would like to be a member of this channel, check the links below as well. If you'd like to join the Discord, if you'd like to leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that, it's very, very much appreciated. So I hope all of you guys enjoyed this review. I hope all of you guys have a good afternoon, good evening, or good night.